Hello everyone, welcome back to Maker Mike. Getting a knife razor sharp isn't as difficult as you might think. Take a look at this blade. It's so dull that instead of slicing through a tomato, it crushes it. At this point, many people would simply choose to throw it away and buy a new one instead. It feels easier and faster, but that also means losing something that could still be repaired and used again. When I try cutting paper, it tears unevenly. Even pressing it lightly against my hand doesn't create a clean cut. That's how blunt it has become. In today's video, I am going to show you a simple method to bring this knife back to a razor sharp edge, using nothing more than WD-40 and a few basic materials. Stay with me until the end, because the final result is going to be a huge difference from what you're seeing now. Let's begin with the setup. Take 2 sheets of sandpaper, one with 400 grit and another with 1000 grit. The higher the grit, the smoother the surface becomes. Cut them into pieces that match the size you need. These 2 levels will handle both shaping and refining the edge. Start with 400 grit sandpaper, then move to 1000 grit, adjusting based on how dull the knife is. Take a rectangular wooden block and stand it upright. Use a marker to find the center point on the block. Once marked, drill a hole straight through the center. This hole will hold a metal rod that allows controlled movement during sharpening. Next, take a welding rod and insert it into a drill. Turn the drill on and use pliers to strip away the coating from the rod. Once you expose the bare metal, remove it and hammer it into the hole you just drilled in the wooden block. Now the block has a pivot point. This allows it to move while maintaining a consistent angle. Apply 3M tape onto both flat surfaces of the wooden block. Then attach the sandpaper onto the tape. Place the 400 grit on one side and the 1000 grit on the other. This gives you a 2-sided sharpening surface. I'm sure you've got your own helpful methods, so share them in the comment section and let's help each other out. Let's build the structure that holds everything in place. Take a larger wooden board and an L-shaped metal bracket with holes. Place the bracket onto the board. Mark the hole positions. And drill matching holes into the wood. Secure the bracket tightly using screws. This bracket will act as a guide for the sharpening arm. At the other end of the wooden board, draw a straight line and mark 2 evenly spaced points. Drill 2 holes at those points. These holes will hold the knife in position. Apply a small amount of super glue along the edge between the holes. Then attach a plastic zip tie along that line. This acts as a support for the spine of the knife. Insert 2 screws with washers into the holes, but don't tighten them completely yet. Now place the knife into position, and the screws hold it in place. Tighten the screws carefully so the knife stays stable without bending. At this stage, the knife is fixed, and the sharpening system is almost ready. Take the wooden block with the sandpaper and insert the metal rod into one of the holes on the metal bracket. Place your phone on top of the wooden block and use an angle measurement app. Adjust the position until you reach an angle between 16 and 20 degrees. This angle is critical. It determines how sharp the blade will be. Spray a small amount of WD-40 onto the 400 grit sandpaper and also lightly onto the blade. This acts as a lubricant and helps reduce friction during sharpening. Begin moving the blade along the sandpaper. Keep the motion smooth and consistent. Don't press too hard. Let the abrasive surface do the work. As you continue, the rough grit removes material from the edge and reshapes it. Take your time. A steady rhythm gives better results than rushing. After several passes, switch to the 1000 grit side. Apply WD-40 again, then repeat the same motion. This finer grit smooths the surface and refines the edge. Now pause and check the blade. You should see a more consistent edge forming. Next, flip the knife and repeat the process on the other side. Use a screwdriver to remove the two screws. Then take a paper towel and wipe the blade clean. At this point, one side of the knife is already sharp and clearly defined. You can start to see the difference compared to before, with a much cleaner and more refined edge. Spray WD-40 again, then begin sharpening with the 400 grit. Keep the same angle and motion. Consistency is key here. If the angle changes, the edge will not form correctly. After working through the coarse grit, move to the 1000 grit again. At this stage, the edge becomes sharper and smoother. As you continue, a small burr may form along the edge. This is a sign that both sides are meeting at a fine point. The key here is not force, it's consistency, angle control, and proper progression from coarse to fine surfaces. Once both sides are sharpened evenly, it's time to refine the edge further. Take a piece of denim fabric and attach it to a flat wooden surface. Apply a small amount of polishing compound or wax onto the fabric. This will act as a stropping surface. Place the blade onto the fabric and gently pull it backward along the surface. Don't push forward. The motion should always go away from the edge. This step removes the burr and aligns the edge at a microscopic level. Repeat the motion several times on both sides. you'll notice the edge becoming cleaner and sharper. Now it's time to test the result. Take a sheet of paper and try cutting through it. The blade moves smoothly without tearing. The cut is clean and controlled. From a dull, ineffective knife, you now have a sharp and precise tool. And all of this was done using simple materials and a controlled method. Next, take a tomato. Place the blade on the surface and apply light pressure. Instead of crushing the tomato, the blade slices through it easily, creating thin, even cuts. This shows how much the edge has improved. WD-40 plays an important role by reducing friction and helping the abrasive surface work more effectively. Take a moment to look at the blade again. The edge is clean, the surface is smooth, the performance speaks for itself. And just like that, the job is done. If you found this method useful, don't forget to give this video a like and share it with someone who might need it. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.